Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for the Wadsworth City School District Board of Education for Monday, November 17th. If you'd stand and join me with the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, if we could get a roll call, Mr. Beeman.
Julie Beatty.
Here.
Amanda Gordon.
Here.
Jill Stevens.
Here.
Tim Beck.
Here.
Gary McComas.
Here.
Ava Canada.
Here.
In our packets, we received the minutes from the last meeting, so if I could get a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, Mr. Beeman.
Amanda Gordon.
Aye.
Jill Stevens.
Aye.
Tim Beck.
Aye.
Gary McComas.
Aye.
Julie Beatty.
Aye. Okay. We'll move to student and staff recognition. Dr. Hill.
Thank you, President Gordon. At this time, I ask for our Students of the Month and principals to please make their way backstage. Board, as a reminder, after Students of the Month recognition, we have 2 presentations, so you may want to take your microphone with you in case you have questions before we reconvene for the discussion items on stage.
Good evening, Wadsworth families. My name is Sanana Kelly. I am the principal at Franklin Elementary School, and I am so proud to celebrate Connor Munyon as Franklin Elementary's November Student of the Month. Connor is a model student in so many ways and a true example of what it means to follow the Franklin way. In the classroom, Connor is a natural leader who sets a positive example for his peers. He approaches every lesson with curiosity and determination, always eager to learn new things and push himself to do his best work. One of the most impressive things about Connor is his growth mindset. He doesn't shy away from challenges. Instead, he learns from his mistakes, whether it's working through a tricky grammar concept or reflecting on how to make better choices in every area of the school. Connor dreams of becoming either a Major League Baseball player or a computer scientist. He loves playing baseball, and he's also inspired to learn more about computer science because his dad has a minor in that field, and he's just really good at it, so he wants to see where it takes him. One of his favorite memories at Franklin is when the whole school earned the reward of silly stringing the principal, which was a moment he won't forget. Me neither. Connor loves that Franklin is a STEM school and gives him opportunities to learn in exciting ways. He looks up most to his mom and dad, who he says are wonderful parents who guide him through everything in life. He knows that they're always there for him, and he just loves them so very much. Connor's kindness and empathy make him a friend to everyone. He goes out of his way to include others, offers help when someone needs it, and shows respect to both his classmates and teachers. His positive attitude helps make our school a welcoming and supportive place for all. We are so lucky to have Connor as part of our Franklin family. His hard work, kindness, and leadership truly make a difference every day. I am so proud of you, Connor. Everyone who knows you is a better person because of it. You are going to be so missed at Franklin next year, and I know you're going to do great things. Please join me in congratulating Connor Munyon.
Good evening. My name is Chris Dolka, and I am the principal at Isham Elementary. It is my honor tonight to recognize Vivian Allen as Isham's 4th grade Student of the Month. Vivian's homeroom teacher, Miss Mirando, shares that Vivian is a shining example of creativity, curiosity, and positivity in our fourth grade classroom. She approaches each lesson with enthusiasm and original ideas, and her inquisitive nature encourages those around her to think deeply and explore new perspectives. Vivian consistently goes above and beyond, finding unique ways to study, learn, and engage with the material. She treats everyone with kindness and grace, making her peers feel valued and supported. Her genuine gratitude toward both classmates and teachers helps create a warm and welcoming learning environment. Ms. Mirando is proud to recognize Vivian as our Board of Education Student of the Month for her outstanding character and her inspiring attitude of gratitude. I can personally echo many of Ms. Mirando's words. Vivian is also a dedicated member of our garden club, our team of fourth graders responsible for caring for Isham's pollinator garden, which serves as a certified monarch butterfly way station. Not only did Vivian jump in to help manage the weeds, she also took the initiative to research the milkweed bugs we often find in the garden. She created an informational poster, had it laminated to protect it from the weather, and added it to our outdoor learning space. Vivian went well beyond the typical responsibilities of Garden Club to help our community understand the important role these insects play in supporting milkweed plants, a favorite of monarch butterflies. When asked a few questions about herself, here's what Vivian shared. She loves school because it allows her to meet new friends. She also likes the teachers and all of the principals she's had. Vivian shared that she loves Isham because it was the very first school she ever attended, and it is where she met her closest friends. She also thinks it's pretty special that she and the school share almost the same birthday, just a different year, right, Vivian? She also, her favorite subjects are science and art, though she also enjoys any opportunity to read in the classroom. Looking ahead, Vivian hopes to become a scientist, though she isn't sure which field yet, but she knows she wants to explore and discover new things. I told her she has a lot of time to make that decision and that it's okay if her mind changes many times before she actually has to decide. Outside of school, she enjoys writing in her notebook, reading, and watching TV. Vivian looks up to her mom and dad, whom she describes as very smart and influential in her life. If she could give her kindergarten self any advice, she would remind herself to take her time with writing, to hold her pencil more carefully, slow down, and stay calm. Most importantly, she would remind herself always to be kind, because getting upset with someone only makes a situation worse. Important words to live by, Vivian. Even us as adults, we can stand to hear those words from time to time. Join me in congratulating Vivian Allen.
Good evening. My name is Laura Maslick, proud principal at Lincoln Elementary. It is my pleasure to introduce Irish Price, Lincoln's November Board Student of the Month. Irish is the daughter of Antoine and Kalia Price. She has 9 brothers and sisters. 3 of her siblings attend Lincoln this year, and here is what Irish's teachers, Mrs. Barker and Miss Sibio, had to say when nominating her. Irish has truly stood out for demonstrating gratitude each day, showing kindness to everyone, and making remarkable progress in stepping out of her shell. Irish consistently takes the time to thank others and express appreciation for both big and small gestures. She treats all classmates and teachers with genuine respect and compassion, helping to create a warm and welcoming environment. Over the past few weeks, we've also seen Irish grow in her confidence, participating more in class discussions, sharing ideas, and engaging with her peers in new and positive ways. Irish comes from a large and loving family, and she is incredibly close to all of them. She shared that there is always someone to play with, talk to, or just be silly with, and the fun never ends with a house full of creativity. Whether they're crafting together, making up games, or just laughing with being one another, Irish truly treasures the special bond she has with her siblings. She loves to play outside, play tag, and even play football with her brother. She also has a few favorite foods: sushi, McDonald's, ice cream cake, and cheesecake. These things make her smile just as much as her family does. At school, Irish shines brightest in her two favorite subjects, which include reading and writing. She loves picking out new books and discovering new stories. Writing is especially meaningful to her because it gives her the chance to use her imagination and creativity. That sense of freedom inspires her every day. The dreams for her future include getting a job when she grows up, just like her big sister. And she dreams of also being a mom one day. But her biggest passions include art. She's inspired by her talented brother. Irish loves painting and imagines becoming an artist when she's older. Her creativity, effort, and imagination will definitely take her far. Although Irish describes herself as a shy person, she also shared with me how much her friends, like her classmate Hayden, encourage her to get involved and participate in new things. She and her sister also love to sing together. Although she said she doesn't enjoy singing in front of others, music is something she loves. When I asked her what advice she would give to younger students, Irish shared a message full of heart and wisdom. I love this, Irish. She said, "This is a great place to be. At Lincoln, you will be safe and welcomed. No matter what, just keep going. Don't give up and dream your big dreams." She credits her mom and sisters, Chloe and Summer, for helping her to believe this and for always encouraging her to reach for more. Irish, your kindness, creativity, and determination make you someone that others truly look up to. We are so proud of the student you are and the person you are becoming. Will you help me congratulate Irish Price?
Good evening. My name is Dave Ryder, and I'm the principal at Overlook Elementary. I want to introduce you to Grace Grimley, Overlook Elementary's Board Student of the Month. Grace has been an excellent leader in 4th grade, consistently setting a positive example for her peers. Grace was nominated by her teachers, Mrs. Bennett and Mrs. Whistler, stating, "Grace has stood out as a leader in 4th grade since the first day of school. You can always find her setting an example for others. Whether it is with her quiet leadership or her modeling behavior, Grace is a role model for all. In the classroom, she always strives to do her best. We appreciate her perseverance and determination. Grace is an engaged learner who participates and asks questions, and she is a kind friend to others. Grace has been featured on our morning announcements, serves as a preschool helper, and is a member of the student council. Grace is definitely a student to be proud of. We are lucky to have her as a valuable member of our 4th grade community. Keep shining bright, Grace." At school, Grace's favorite subject is writing, which she uses to express her feelings and ideas in creative ways. When asked about her favorite Overlook teacher, she smiled and said, "All of them," noting Miss Maxon in 1st grade for making learning fun, and Mrs. Bennett in 4th grade for helping students take on more responsibilities. One of Grace's favorite memories is a 2nd grade field trip to Hale Farm and Village with Miss Triplett and her class. Her advice to future 4th graders is simple but valuable. Be a leader by modeling good listening and showing respect. Outside of school, Grace loves to play basketball and softball and enjoys family movie nights on the weekends. She dreams of playing in the WNBA with a backup plan to become a 1st grade teacher. Grace, we are so proud of you. Keep up the amazing work. Please join me in congratulating Grace Grimley, Overlook Elementary's November Board Student of the Month.
Good evening. I'm Carrie Hampshire, the principal at Valley View Elementary, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you to Harper Berger. She is joined here this evening by her parents Charles and Rachel and her sister Ava. Harper was nominated by Mrs. Owens, her fourth grade teacher, and this is what Mrs. Owens had to say. Harper is a strong representation of our Valley View values of being kind, safe, and responsible. She consistently provides an excellent example for others to follow each day. She is one of those exceptional students who can be counted on to do the right thing even when no one is looking. She is a kind friend to all and treats all students and staff with respect. She's incredibly responsible, and her dedication to giving her best effort to her schoolwork, even when it's hard, is outstanding. She's not just awesome in the classroom, but she is also very giving of her time and her talents with others. She's a volunteer with student council. She helps with morning announcements, and she's a valued member of our Valley View STEM Club. Her strong problem-solving and creative thinking skills can be seen in many areas of her assignments and projects. She is a joy to teach, and her love for learning shines through every day. I had a wonderful time talking with Harper when I met with her to congratulate her on this honor, and I asked her what she would like to share with everyone here tonight to help you all get to know her better. She shared with me that she loves to draw, and her favorite subject is history. She loves to do things in nature, especially take walks with her family, and she really enjoys when people read books to her or when she reads books without pictures so that she can use her imagination to create the scene that the book is describing. She also shared with me that she really looks up to her grandfather. He was a pastor, and she has always felt like the Bible had really big words that she didn't always understand. But what he said and what he shared with her about the Bible always made sense and helped her understand what the Bible meant. But the coolest thing that we talked about was how hard she works every day in school. Harper wanted everyone to know that she has dyslexia and that she works super hard and has to take extra time all the time to ensure that she can be successful at what she does. I will say that without a doubt, this young lady is an example for all students and adults of how to work hard, have determination and resilience, and how that can create an avenue of success even when there are obstacles in your path. The last thing that she shared was that she'd like to give a little bit of advice to the students at Valley View. You need to listen. And if you need help, ask for it. It is always okay to ask for help. Please congratulate this young lady for her honor as Valley View Student of the Month.
Hello and good evening, Board of Education and Wadsworth Community. I'm Brandon Cobb, principal of Wadsworth Intermediate School. I'm here tonight to celebrate our November Board Student of the Month, Lauren Evans. Lauren is the daughter of Jeff and Holly Evans and is also here tonight with her sister Olivia. Lauren's a sixth grader and was nominated by our teachers, Mrs. Depker, Mrs. Gill, Mrs. Meyer, and Mr. Stoner. Here's what our teachers had to say. It is a pleasure to recognize Lauren Evans as Wadsworth Intermediate School Board Student of the Month. Lauren is a wonderful example of what it means to be kind, hardworking, and respectful as a student. Each day she enters the classroom with a positive attitude and a readiness to learn that inspires those around her. Lauren consistently puts forth her best effort in all subjects and takes pride in doing quality work. She asks thoughtful questions, contributes to class discussions, and isn't afraid to take on new challenges. Beyond academics, Lauren stands out for her kindness and empathy, always willing to lend a helping hand, include others, and make everyone feel welcomed. Lauren truly embodies the qualities we value most in our school: respect, responsibility, and love for learning. Team Impact is so proud of Lauren for setting such a positive example for others and for showing what it means to be a leader in and out of the classroom. Please help me congratulate WIS November Board Student of the Month, Lauren Evans.
Good evening. I'm Chris Roberts, proud principal of Wadsworth Middle School, and tonight I am proud to recognize Nura Hunt as Wadsworth Middle School's Board Student of the Month for November. Nura is an outstanding student who brings curiosity, effort, and positivity to everything she does. Her favorite subjects are math and language arts. She enjoys math because, as she says, it just makes sense. And she finds satisfaction in reading various stories and completing assignments in language arts. Nura's success at Wadsworth Middle School is a result of her dedication to her studies, whether she's working hard during IE, studying at home, or just putting in some extra time to prepare for an upcoming test. Her focus and determination have truly paid off. When asked what keeps her motivated, Nura shared that she loves earning good grades and looks forward to challenging herself with higher level math classes next year at the high school. Her mom often reminds her that strong grades can lead to growing opportunities in college, and that encouragement helps Nura stay focused on her goals. Outside of the classroom, Nura enjoys staying active and spending time with her friends. She loves running, especially cross country and track, and hopes to qualify for the state tournament as a distance runner this year. When she's not training, you might find her babysitting, cooking with friends, or just taking a walk in the park. Nura draws inspiration from her family, especially her brother, with whom she shares many of her interests. She also credits her parents for their constant support and encouragement in all that she does. When asked what advice she might give to others wishing to experience similar success, Nura said, "Pay attention in class and ask questions when you don't understand something." It's advice that reflects her own approach to learning. If you know Nura, you'll agree that she is not one to stand down when challenges arise. Rather, she looks for ways to overcome obstacles and views them as a pathway to better herself. Whether that means asking a teacher for feedback or studying a little longer, she always finds a way to get better. Nura's goals for the rest of the year include continuing to earn straight A's, preparing for high school math, and pushing herself both as a student and athlete. Nura also shared how certain teachers have made a lasting impact. For example, Mr. Curvin, who made science so much fun last year, and Mr. Ferguson, whose clear explanations have made social studies among one of her favorite subjects. Nura's work ethic, kindness, and determination make her a wonderful example for others to follow at Wadsworth Middle School. So please join me in congratulating our Wadsworth November Student of the Month, Nura Hunt.
Good evening. I'm Vincent Suber, and I'm the proud principal of Wadsworth High School, and we proudly present Jillian Davy Durr as November's Career Tech Student of the Month. Davy is the daughter of Hillary and Zach Durr. She enjoys reading, shopping, playing sports, and spending time with her friends and 3 younger siblings. Her favorite color is purple. Davy is a highly accomplished student at Wadsworth High School, demonstrating excellence both inside and outside the classroom. She is a member of the National Honor Society, National Technical Honor Society, and Huddle. She's a varsity member of the cross-country and track teams, and she is also an active member of her church youth group, where she participates in service projects in and around Wadsworth, as well as an annual trip to Yucatan, Mexico. In her Advancement to Nursing Compact program, Davy is a natural leader. Throughout her 4 years at Wadsworth High School and Career Tech program, Davy has maintained an impressive 4.4 grade point average while taking 5 AP classes, 6 CCP classes, and earning the Seal of Biliteracy in Spanish. Davy has had a positive impact on Wadsworth High School and its Compact program. One of Davy's teachers, Miss Shelley Royer, had this to say about her. Davy is the student you dream of having in your classroom. She is wicked smart and beyond diligent, but you might not realize it because she is so easygoing. She is an active listener and is always willing to help out another student. especially as they're struggling. Davy brings a lighthearted sense of fun and energy to my classroom. I truly cannot say enough about how happy I am that she decided to take AP Biology this year. After graduation, Davy plans to attend college to become a certified registered nurse anesthesiologist. When asked about her time after high school, Davy said, "I'm so grateful for all the opportunities I have been given to take part in different classes and programs to prep for college and a future career." Please join me in congratulating Davy Durr. And Wadsworth High School proudly presents Emily Hansen as November's Student of the Month. Emily is the daughter of Lacey and Stephen Hansen. Emily enjoys scrapbooking as well as camping and hiking with her family, and her favorite color is yellow. At Wadsworth High School, Emily exemplifies leadership and dedication. She's involved in a number of activities, including cross-country, swim team, track, international club, yearbook, huddle, and National Honor Society. Additionally, both Davy and Emily participated on the team's cross-country team, and they were instrumental, and they placed first in the Suburban League, first at the district, regional runner-up, and finally they were fourth place in the state. So they were both had an awesome season this year. Emily is the co-president of the International Club, and she has earned a global seal by literacy in French. She is a CIEE Global Navigator alumnus, and she continues to serve as an ambassador for the organization. She volunteers with her church and events at Lincoln Elementary. Emily's academic commitment is very impressive. This year, she's enrolled in 4 AP classes, but she has already completed 4 CCP classes and 3 AP classes, while still maintaining an active role in all the extracurricular activities. The rigorous course load, combined with an outstanding 4.4 GPA, is a clear reflection of her dedication to her education. One of Emily's teachers, Ms. Valerie Queese, had to say about her: "Emily is a dedicated French student who approaches her studies with determination and focus. Resourceful and independent, she took the initiative to find a study abroad program on her own, showing commitment to expanding her learning beyond the classroom. Her hard work and passion for languages have paid off. Despite her numerous accomplishments, Emily remains humble and gracious, always willing to help others and share her passion for French culture. Through sharing her experiences and inspiring her peers, she has grown into a true leader within the language community." After graduating from high school, Emily plans to attend college and major in neuroscience. She has enjoyed her time at Wadsworth High School, saying, "WHS offers a ton of opportunities. I have loved being able to participate in many organizations over my years here. I have created memories that will last me a lifetime." Please join me in congratulating Emily Hansen.
Congratulations again to all of our Students of the Month. Thank you to family and friends for joining us this evening. At this time, our board is going to transition into the business portion of their meeting. There's a couple presentations and discussion items, other action items. If you came just for Students of the Month, feel free to leave at this time. Everyone, though, is more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you choose to. Thank you. This time I'm going to ask for our Student Wellbeing and Mental Health Coordinator, Mrs. Sarah Capaco, to join us. Sarah's here tonight on behalf of the Whole Child Committee to present an overview of the summary of results of our recent staff survey. Once Sarah is done, then Eric Jackson, our Director of Instruction and Professional Development, will join to give an overview of our recent state report card. Sarah?
Thank you. I can just hit it. Fantastic. Good evening. I think I know everybody here, so that's exciting. I don't want to take too much time. I know we have a couple different presentations. And so we went ahead and did our staff survey again this year. We were excited in that our total responses went up 58 from last year. So last year we had 301. This year we ended with 351. Our team went into staff meetings. I berated our staff with emails, and we asked very nicely, and we were excited to see that we had some good participation, even kind of on some of our PD days. We were saying, friendly reminder, this might be a great time to complete your staff survey. It's a tough time of year to do it. At the same time, staff are getting ready for their year, their classrooms. They also have a lot of public school works that they got to get done, and so we're grateful that we got a response. One of the things I wanted to show you was just almost kind of like a bird's eye view. If we break it up into 5 tenets, so if you remember, healthy child is around healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and challenged. And we decided that if we wanted our kids to have the opportunity to be healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and challenged, we needed the adults that interacted with them every single day to feel that way as well, which is how this thing kind of got going. And so these are our averages of each tenant. So we asked our questions were asked or they were statements, and they were very positive. So we were looking for agree or strongly agree. These are the percentages of folks who listed that they would agree or positively agree with the statements. These are the averages of each tenant. If you're really into math and statistics, and again, maybe beyond, if you recall, I am a social worker, but those little numbers are how many statements are in each tenant. So healthy, we asked 6, or we stated 6. Safe and supported, we asked some more. And so I thought that may be a little bit relevant in seeing that. As you see, supported's our highest. Healthy is our lowest. However, as a team, we decided that we wanted to benchmark at 70%. We looked at like customer service, kind of scores that corporations go for, and we decided that 70% in that favorability percentage was considered exceeding expectations. So if you look at that with the exception of healthy, we're looking pretty good. However, within that, we did go through and find any big dips. So even if we were at a 79%, if we found that something dropped 8%, we wanted to make sure we paid attention to that. So each of the tenants, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. So for healthy, and if you recall, this is the one that we're a little bit lower on. The two things, one of the things I'm learning every time we do this survey is it feels like it talks to us. The more we look at it and look at the numbers, the more it's kind of giving us a message. And so these are the two biggest things that stood out, is that there's the stress and the overwhelm. And that was there last year as well. What people are saying is that the workload is increasing. In some cases, that's a new curriculum that they need to learn in order to then teach, but also student needs. And so with student needs increasing, they're collecting more data, they're doing more individualized planning. So there's a lot more work to be done. However, planning periods still remain the same amount of time. And even still, some of that time is having to be utilized in collaboration for some of these increased student needs. So that's something a lot of our folks are juggling, and what they're letting us know is because of that, a lot of work is coming home, and they're starting to feel that work-life balance start to kind of fall apart a little bit. The other thing that was coming out quite a bit in this survey this year is the kind of inequities between our certified staff and our classified staff, and in this case, our benefit eligible staff versus our benefit ineligible staff. Now, there is some confusion. The only thing benefit ineligible staff don't have access to is that biometric screening. However, what we're hearing from the survey is staff feel like they don't have access to the health coaching. One person even thought they didn't have access to the mental health sessions. And so one of the things we did, we've already presented this to our wellness committee, is we've started strategizing on how we ensure that people have accurate information to what they have access to. However, a celebration we did have in our staff wellness is that we had an increase in 12% of people who were aware of the free health coaching, which was a huge goal that the staff wellness committee set for ourselves over the last year or two, mostly from the results of previous data, so that was exciting too. A couple of other things that were on this slide last year that have since fallen off. So shortages were a big concern last year, and that didn't come up this year. I kind of tried to get some additional information from some of our administrators, and they said, we've had some big numbers of absences, but for the most part, we're getting them filled. And so that strain is felt a lot less this year. It didn't come up so much. The other thing that was all over the survey last year and not this year was the heating and cooling challenges of our buildings. That wasn't brought up once. And I had to double check our dates. I said, man, last year, did we go more into the winter or something? But we didn't. I gave this presentation, I think, November 18th last year. And so that's something that has fallen off. And so we're hopeful that that's a result of kind of this information being taken, some actions being taken to kind of alleviate some of those concerns. And we're hopeful that that's what we're seeing here. For safety, the one big thing that stood out to us here was our new building. So we have an intermediate school, and one of the things we learned in Healthy is that the facilities, there's a statement, facilities benefit our well-being, our health and well-being, and that number went up, which was exciting. One of the things we heard from staff is with the new building, it's new. So when they go to do lockdown intruder drills, or when they go to do fire drills, they're navigating a whole brand new space. And so that's gonna take some time. And so when we did a presentation to our safety committee, our recommendations were, can your crew get even a little more of just kind of what we have to do each month? Can you bring in people? People are asking they want to kind of think through things, talk through things, and walk through things, because they have just been in their building just about the same amount of times that they've been teaching this year. And so that's something I think that's getting worked out. Also something that came out in our survey, we know early on in the year, there were some issues with doors latching and things like that. Some of that came through since then, those have been resolved. And so that's exciting when we kind of see that and we're like, you know what, check, we've already taken care of some of that. The other thing too, student accountability. So this has always been one of our lowest performers. The statement is that students are held accountable for their behaviors. However, while it is one of our lowest reporting statements, it is trending in the right direction, and it's up 4.4%. To that still, our staff reported, the statement is, students respect me, and 84.8% of staff either agree or strongly agree with that statement. And so we were joking, but not really, say what you will about kids these days. Our kids are doing kind of awesome. We thought that was a pretty big number, and we were glad and excited to hear that. Our engagement score has overall dropped a smidge. We went from 80% to about 76%. There's only 7 questions here, and 4 of those questions dropped. What we saw those questions were around, and something else that kind of came out in this survey in terms of kind of one of the things it was telling us, is that staff are wanting their input. They feel like their input's not being valued. They want their input being considered more before decisions and things like that. And so that was something that kind of kept coming out. So then when we saw this dropped overall, looking into the specific statements it dropped on, it was around collaboration, collaboration, input around situations, meaningful participation in decision-making, things of that nature. And so kind of around that, wanting their voice heard and their input taken. The good news is, though, is that staff want to be together. They talk about that collaboration is the time they feel most engaged. They want more fellowship, more team building. And so we counted that as a win. Supported, this is one of our highest, which we feel really good about. Any drop in scores were kind of around that voice being heard. Communication, collaboration, and celebration, those were our 3 lowest kind of themes around this area last year as well, that they want more communication, they want more collaboration. However, all of those areas, while lowest last year, lowest this year, we did see a small increase in. So that was exciting. The other thing too that we felt really excited about is that 67.1% of staff reported that the morale in their building or their area of operation is high. That's a 7% increase over the last 2 years and the highest number reported. So one of the things that's been kind of fun being the 3rd year of this data collection is that we're starting to be able to see trends. And so not just having the numbers, but being able to see, are we heading in the right direction? And so while we're not at our 70% yet for our staff morale, we're excited that we're moving positively, and we considered 77% a pretty good reach. We decided kind of anything above 4% we considered significant. And challenge. This one stayed pretty steady, which is good. I think one of the things that's been really exciting is that we've asked, what do you want to see more PD around? In the same way the Professional Development Committee has. And some of the things that even came through on this email, we had sessions on before the last PD day that just wrapped up. But some of the things that they really are wanting to continue to learn more about are just their curriculum and their context-specific stuff. A lot of things around behavior. So whether it's trauma-informed education, specific behavioral diagnoses, or just managing behaviors in general, and then wanting to stay up to date on technology and AI, which again is cool because every single one of those things was addressed in our PD here, but I know that they just want to keep learning and keep growing in those areas. The one thing that came up here too is kind of that in equity classified staff are wanting PD or some collaboration. We've heard this in the past, and I know they've worked on trying to get CPR first aid for our transportation and things like that. One of the couple groups that came out were our clerks and our secretaries saying they would love more collaboration time, working together to see how they're utilizing different, our Google Suites and how they're using that to track things, which I thought was pretty cool. And some of our aides in attendance we're looking for more collaboration time and maybe a little more training, as well as kind of our encore specific, so music, PE, art, some of those more specialized areas came out. So that was something that we learned. Our themes overall. This top two bullets are the exact same as last year. So our staff are still overwhelmed, and their time to get that work done during the work day has decreased. A teacher, though, put something in words that was kind of cool. We did this, we presented to our staff on PD day, and she said, there's an art and a science to teaching. And she said one of the things that's been so challenging about getting new curriculum and trying to learn this curriculum quickly in order to then present it to the students is it's getting a little bit in the way of my art and science of teaching, because I'm just trying to kind of like quick memorize, learn, regurgitate. And part of that is just new curriculum. The hope is that next year and the year after that, some of that settles because the new is no longer new and the change is no longer a change. But I thought that was a great way of illustrating some of that. The other thing coming through is that classified versus certified. Sometimes it's about accessibility to benefits, but sometimes it was also staff letting us know that our classified staff feel like they are valued less. And so I think that that's great conversation for us to have with our admin team to make sure that we're showing our gratitude in that way. And then the final thing was our staff voice and input, just kind of this input, this theme that staff are wanting to be heard or wanting to feel like their input's being taken into consideration with decisions. However, we have a lot of wins. So again, speaking of learning and challenging myself, I went to kind of like corporate mode to learn what do companies want when they want like employee satisfaction, and what should we be learning from. And I even had Google Gemini, our AI, build something for me around public employee benchmarks. And so what was exciting is that for job satisfaction, 70% or higher would be considering exceeding expectations. When we asked staff, the question or the statement was, overall, as it comes to my work, I am, and their options were very happy, happy, neutral, unhappy, very unhappy. We had 86% of staff report that they are happy or very happy, which that number I think is awesome. And while I haven't done it yet, I'm always tempted to go to another district to because I want to compare, because I feel like this number feels good. Anything over 70% and we're hitting 86. Another thing we looked at too is something called an employee net promoter score. This is hard to score well on. This is where you only count the benefits of the employees who would recommend that other people work here, your actual promoters, the people that talk about what a wonderful place this is. For public education, anything over 20 is considered very good. And our employee net promoter score, which again, even we kind of swayed because we were looking at that job satisfaction, which it could have been asked in a different way, but we were scoring 27. So if the goal's over 20, we're at 27, and we feel good about that. And then finally, they let me know that if you had a 75% or higher intent to stay for the next 3 to 5 years, that we should feel really good about that in public education. And so while we didn't ask intent to stay, we did ask are you optimistic about your future at WCS? And 84% said that they are, that they agree or strongly agree that they're optimistic. So again, if we're trying to hit for 75% and we're at 84, we were feeling really good about that. So it's a lot of data, it's a lot of points, but overall, we're feeling good and we got some really great feedback to act on. So is there any questions? Alrighty.
It's a lot to take in, but thank you.
It's a lot to take in.
Very interesting to read.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for pulling out the celebrations. Yeah.
Right. We got a lot of good news in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
That made me feel very old. I apologize. Nice and slow coming up the steps, which is a rarity for me. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Hill, Board of Education. Appreciate you having me here tonight. Originally scheduled for October, pushed it back a month here in November. So again, thank you for allowing me to talk a little bit about our local report card and questions that you may have at the end. So if you remember, there were 5 areas reported on in the past. This is the first year that 6 are being calculated into the equation, with college and career readiness being added. Achievement, student performance on state tests. Progress deals with value added in academic growth. Graduation rate, pretty simplistic, measuring students who are graduating indeed in either 4 or 5 years. Gap closing, measuring gifted performance, chronic absenteeism, and content achievement by student grouping. Early literacy, measuring our reading improvement and proficiency. And then obviously that last one, career and college and career readiness, measuring the readiness of our graduating class to go on to post-secondary education, entering the workforce, or joining our armed forces. So looking specifically at our report card, we did outstanding yet again with an overall rating of 4.5 stars out of 5. If you remember, dark blue is the best rating, meaning we exceeded growth projections. Gap closing and graduation fell in both of those categories. All other areas were very strong, moving into light blue and green, denoting growth. And as you can see, there are no red and no yellow overall, denoting growth was not met in those categories. So a little deeper then into specifics. Each district is rated on stars, if you remember from last year, ranging 1 red, 5 to dark blue, and then anywhere in between. Unlike in years past, I wanted to give just kind of a snapshot comparison. So I apologize it's not as big, but just a year-to-year comparison that you'll see in most of the slides that I will present. This year we, again, as I stated, 4.5 stars as we did last year. One thing to note in this visual is the amount of districts that fell and regressed as we did not. We stayed the same with 4.5. Breaking it down a bit further, we can see color and number associated to each star for each building, giving specific school results. This is a great roadmap to start identifying our areas of improvement and growth needed to be successful long-term. Reviewing data, having conversations, creating plans for improvement are all ways to start moving in the right direction with any improvements that are needed. So we will quickly take a look at those 5 areas noted already. 6 noted already. So achievement, 88% is where we ended up, having 96.4 total points out of our maximum 109.8. That is calculated by the number of students scoring in a certain category, limited, basic, proficient, etc., and then multiplied out. What is interesting to review on our report card is the comparison and trend data. It gives you the ability to compare your schools to district scores, similar district scores, and of course, state scores. Historically, we want to look at how we fare against similar schools from similar districts to gauge our success as compared to state averages. So as an example, or several examples, Greene from Summit County, Lake from Stark County, Olmsted Falls, Cuyahoga County, and North Canton from Stark. Second category is progress. Progress is measured by expected growth or value added, where a student starts to where a student ends. The top visual, the 23-24 school year, and the bottom is our most current 24-25. Remember, dark blue, sometimes appearing charcoal, is very strong, along with then light blue as well. Green is still very good, meaning making growth, and then having to focus just a little bit more on the red and the yellow. So as you can see on the bottom, we made significant progress with our value added scores. Much more dark blue and light blue compared to last year, meaning more than expected growth in those areas. Graduation rate, probably the most simplistic to understand. Our freshmen graduating after being with us for 4 years. That 5-year graduation rate applies to students who enter in that 5-year range. These are students who entered the 9th grade in the fall of 19 and graduated in the summer by 2024 summer. In the areas of language arts, English language arts, and math achievement, are our students achieving their state goal? Yes, the short answer is yes. They are achieving their goals, as you can clearly see here. It's a bit small, so I apologize for that, but I at least wanted to offer, again, some comparisons. The horizontal colored bars are our student groups, and the red dot on the top or yellow dot on the bottom are their goals. If looking at performance in every group, we met our goal, and in many cases, we're significantly above. Now, I do apologize. I don't know why the state makes it difficult and changes the colors, but you should be able to easily read that, but it complicates it just a bit because there's a red dot last year and a yellow dot. And so, but as you can see, our numbers are far past the dots, and that's what we want to see each and every year. Gap closing. One additional note on this is the chronic absenteeism. Chronic absenteeism defined as 10% of the school year for any reason, equaling approximately 18 days, which is almost a month of school. We are sitting at 19.4%, which is up just about 1% compared to last year. While this doesn't fully align with the trend noted, if you remember from last year, the high school was working on amending their many different unique schedules that Dr. Hill, I think, touched upon last year at this same presentation to properly record data. That could be one of the contributing factors to that, so something to note as we look into this further and dissect some of this data. Early literacy looks at 3 things: proficiency to 3rd grade reading, promotion to 4th grade, and obviously improving those literacy scores. From those scores, a weighted calculation is done, and that is showing that we have achieved 75.5 or 3.5 of the 5 stars. Proficiency to 3rd grade measures is the performance of 3rd graders that scored proficient on the reading segment of the state English language arts test. Students have to earn a reading subscore of 50 or higher to earn that credit for this measure. The promotion to 4th grade is the percentage of 3rd grade students who are promoted to 4th grade, and then that K through 3 literacy measure, which evaluates reading improvement that occurs during kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. It looks at whether students that were previously off track are now on track and ready and reading at grade level. This is the first year of the reporting for this measure. I would openly tell you that this is our biggest area of focus. We worked on a variety of fronts last year to flush out discrepancies as we've discussed previously in schedules, resources, and even personnel. This year, as you're aware, we are working with Dr. Hill, specifically discussing literacy and taking a deep look into services and resources from the Curriculum and Instruction Department as a focal point at Academic Council. And then lastly is our career and college readiness, which is a new component of reporting this year. It measures the readiness of our graduating students by post-secondary education, entering the workforce, or joining the armed forces. Demonstration of this includes, but is not limited to, the ACT and SAT scores, honors diploma, qualifying scores on either AP or IB, International Baccalaureate exams, and enlistment into the military. We are doing much to prepare our students and our student populations to be successful, but we'll have to look at ways to continue to support based upon how these scores continue to play out in the future. So most importantly, awareness and understanding of our scores and reviewing this information with school leaders is going to be essential to making growth. So I formally meet with principals, both collectively and individually, monthly, along with Kristen Rocky, having regularly scheduled data meetings to review data and identify trends for areas of refinement, which was new last year. Lastly, early literacy continues to be an area of growth for our district. You all approved significant changes in our elementary education and curriculum and intervention materials over the past few years. Coupling those significant changes together, along with the implementation this year of Grizzly Time, we are moving in the right direction. I think we will continue to close those gaps and demonstrate growth. But all of this has to be rooted in fidelity. We all have to be moving in the same direction at the same time with the same vision. So I thank you. I appreciate your time tonight. I do want to end reminding you that our report card is just one day or several days in the life of our students here at Wadsworth City Schools. In some cases, we've collected this data on 1 or 2 days out of 184. Understand that great things are happening in our classrooms across the entire district. We are fully committed to continuing to move in the right direction together. In my experiences thus far, our staff have been positive, kind, welcoming, and open to dialogue and collaboration with our office as we continue to assist our entire school community. So at this time, if you have any questions based upon that information, happy to entertain those. Just like Sarah said, I know it's a lot to digest quickly, so I apologize, but.
Thanks, Eric. I have one question, and thanks for the reminder that this is a point in time on the sound.
Sure.
Go back one slide. I don't think I understand this one well, on the bottom where it says this. So, do you know what the score is, like across the state? So I would find it odd that only 60% of our class met at least one of the readiness measures. That
I mean, how everything is calculated?
I'm not sure if it's a good
Yeah,
score. I'm just curious about it.
There's a lot of conversation at the state level about this.
I'm happy to provide more.
Districts did not have a score that they felt represented accurately.
Okay.
So,
good with that.
as an example, Lions for High Quality of Education that we're part of, we had Chris Woolard from the department at a meeting where there was numerous conversations relating to where there could potentially be ways for the department to make adjustments, and the department noted that they recognize some of that and they're open to further refining the measure.
Okay.
So but as far as more details, we can get you the exact state average. I'm sure that exists somewhere.
I can work on that.
Yeah, I'm just curious about it. I found this one surprising, so thanks for that. If everybody found it surprising. Maybe.
Yeah, I would say most districts in the state found it surprising.
And I think I say this every year, beyond this report card is our quality profile that is put out, coupled with the report card measures. So it's important for our community to take a look at both of those things to see what's really going on in the district.
I would agree.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Smack. We were the smacker.
Thank you. I want to thank Sarah and Eric for their work tonight. A lot went into those presentations, a lot of different people involved in making all the stuff that you heard about tonight happen. So thank you to them. The draft strategic plan. So last spring, we had sent out a survey that went to our community list, to all employees, to all of our high school students. I don't know the exact number, but it's somewhere over 12,000, 15,000 unique email addresses. We received some feedback on areas that those groups felt we should focus based off of the completion that we're nearing of our current 5-year strategic plan. You then held 3 special meetings, 2 in August and 1 at the beginning of September, where we reviewed that feedback. We reviewed the current status of where we were in each of the areas of the plan, in the current plan. And then we took feedback from you. We heard from directors and others within these areas. And so what you have in front of you, what's included in the packet with tonight's agenda, is a draft of the next 5-year strategic plan, 2026 through 2030. I believe that this represents feedback from those surveys and what we heard at the special meetings. But we wanted, our next step in the process is to put out the draft for community input, probably through a survey like we did 5 years ago to get the feedback, unless you choose to do something different. But before we take that step, we wanted to give an opportunity tonight for you to at least initially begin providing feedback on what's here, to make sure that this accurately captures the conversations that occurred at those special meetings, the feedback, other things. If there's changes that you'd like to see, whatever that is, we can go back and make revisions. On the original timeline proposed to you months ago with this, we were going to solicit feedback, make changes this month, bring a final plan back for your approval at the December 8th meeting. If there's a desire to do so and changes that need to be made before this goes out publicly, we can work to make those changes, bring those back for further discussion on December 8th. If you're comfortable at that point, put out the draft for community input from there and bring back a final version to the January meeting. Whatever it is, we can take whatever direction that you'd like to tonight with this. So really just here to answer questions and listen to feedback so we can understand what our next steps are.
Who would like to go first, if anybody has comments or remarks?
I'll go first.
Okay, Julie.
I certainly think at this point in time that it captures the goals that we want to set for the next several years. In regards to maybe what Sarah mentioned tonight about certified staff and classified staff and classified staff not feeling valued or important. I don't know, certainly, and I'm looking, I think the one copy that I have has under faculty, staff, student, and personnel, under, number 1B, I mean, we do have in there provide support, professional development, and an atmosphere of trust and respect for our faculty and staff. I don't know, I guess open communication or transparent communication, I guess, falls into respect, but I don't know if we can add something to where we are listening and hearing what our classified and certified staff are having to say. That's open to suggestions on how to word that, but I think that that's something to consider. And then, not so much substance, but under the timeline column, when I was reading through this, I was looking through, and we have some items in certain areas where, we want to accomplish this for the 27-28 school year. And then we jump back to number 2 might be something that we want to accomplish in the 25-26 school year. And so I'm wondering if we can align them. So so we know, so the community and we know what we are focusing on for the upcoming school year. And then list those items that we want to accomplish in the 27-28 school year after those. Yeah. By making.
Within each area, Julie?
Yes. I mean, there's some areas like finance where it's covering the whole year. But I think it just would be easier for the community and for us to focus on, this is 1 and 2 are what we want to accomplish in the 25-26 school year, and kind of realign them. So it's a better understanding of when we want to accomplish these items.
And are those comments you'd like to see made before we send out to comment for the survey to the community? Or is that something that you think?
I think so. I think I would like
I think
to see
it'll be
that.
easier to read.
It'd be easier to read and for individuals to understand chronologically how we, items that are goals that are, and when we're going to attempt to achieve those goals.
Okay. Anything else, Julie?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Not at the moment.
Ava, I know you read the whole thing, so whatever comments you have, you can let us know. So on this side, does anybody have any comments of things we'd like to see before we send it out to the public to take a look at?
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts. Let's see, under curriculum, number 5, explore how to best integrate technology education in the curriculum K-5 level. 5A, review current practices and minutes, and in parentheses, which focus on artificial intelligence. So it sounds like that was something that has been studied at least the last couple of years. The timeline for that was set at 2027 to 2028 school year. I wondered if that could be pushed up to 2026, 2027. I'm just particularly kind of curious, as our technology is just advancing so quickly, if it might be useful for us to expedite that conversation to see how it might be of use, if at all, to our district. So that was one thought. On the next page, 6, which focuses more at the high school level, 6A, review current academic requirements and structure of the school day. I know that there has been some conversation in the past about FlexPass, things of that nature. I guess it would just, I'm going to assume that might be part of that conversation.
Yes.
I think it should be, if possible.
Yes. Do you want it spelled out? Sorry. Do you want it spelled out differently? The structure piece is what I would consider FlexPass and other things falling
Yeah,
under.
that's fine. I don't think it needs to change in the wording. Okay. I know that's something that there's some curiosity on that, so that's all. And then I guess my only other question, would Appendix A, would that be shared with the public? Is that something?
Yeah, yes, this whole thing in its entirety would go out to the public. And actually, this whole thing is available for the public to view, with part of the supporting documents posted online for tonight's meeting. So it's already out there. We just haven't distributed the instrument to solicit feedback yet.
Yeah, as part of Appendix A, the sales tax worksheet, where it says like projected, like 2026, that's the projected cost of those? Mr. Beeman, is that something you could help me understand?
Yeah, So we're currently in fiscal year 26, so those are the projected costs of those things if we were to implement them during the school year. The ones that are shaded that you really can't see because they're printed in black and white are expenses that we've already incurred.
I gotcha.
So that's why those ones are shaded. They're just highlighted in a different color to designate that those expenses have actually occurred. So for example, our Wright Stadium field turf and what
Gotcha.
have you, that those projects have already been paid and taken care of. But the rest of them are projections based on different studies we've done through different organizations, whether it's been Wright Engineering Group or what have you, that have looked at different components of our buildings and the projected costs of those for 26 through 30.
Thanks. I know we obviously have had some conversation about the outdoor athletic campus. I feel like if at all possible, if we could include any sort of number or projection. I know that's just something to talk about. It doesn't mean we're making that decision. But I don't know if we want to consider sharing that information with the public or explore when is the right time to have those conversations, if needed. That's all.
Gary or Jill, do you have anything? I can be good, yeah. Okay. Okay, with the comments that were given, do we want to see revisions to that to bring back to our meeting next month and then distribute to the community, or how would you guys like to proceed on that?
I think those are small enough changes that we can proceed. So we can
Yeah, I agree. Okay. We all good with that? Yeah. Okay. And I would like to make sure that we give the community enough time. I mean, we've been knee-deep in this for quite some time, and the community isn't. So, you know, I'd like to make sure that we give them enough time to make comments in this survey. So, you know, Andy, when you said, you know, maybe bring this back for, you know, an approval in December, I'm not sure where we are in November, unless I misunderstood what you said. I'm not sure that is going to afford people enough time. So that's just a thought on timing that I have.
So we can make revisions that are noted, the 3 that were noted, and put this out with the survey if you're okay. I think I had shared what that survey previously looked like in the last update that I shared with you. So we can put that out and ask for feedback and time for that to be received and shared with you prior to the December 8th meeting. So maybe there can be further discussion on any final revisions you'd like made at that time. In regards to the athletic complex, I did have a question just so I can be clear. We do have a goal in the facilities. It's number 4 under the facilities, safety, security, transportation, to actually work through the work of that complex master plan committee and the work from FMD Architects that was received to create a master plan then, including cost estimates, stages of implementation and other things, and then to work with you. So there is not a number that's in the budget right now, because when we had the discussion at the meeting on the work from the FMD Architects and the cost that were there, this is kind of where we ended up. So just want to make sure that I'm understanding as far as, okay, all right, very good.
I think we hit it exactly.
Okay, so we'll make these changes then and get that out. We'll try to do that later this week and get it out to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
The other item for discussion tonight is, and Mr. Beeman will join in here with me as we go through this. But we've heard from Doug when he's presented on the former 5-year financial forecast that's now 4 years, current year in 3, that if we show a deficit in any of those years overall with our bottom line, that there's a plan that has to be created for the State Department per Ohio Revised Code 5705.391. We're in a position, as you know, from the presentation last month and the forecast that was approved, and we've known that that was something that was coming based off of previous forecasts, that we now are showing a deficit in the second year. Was it fiscal year 28?
Yes.
So we were contacted after Doug submitted, after you approved last month the forecast, we were contacted not long thereafter by Christopher Wright at the Department of Education and Workforce, sent us information on what's going to be required. And what is going to be required is a plan that the department has a template for that has to be board approved and submitted to them by December 21st. The plan, while it can, in its narrative, it can talk about going and asking the community, if you so choose to, for additional financial support through a ballot initiative. The plan itself to eliminate the $6.7 million cannot be, it cannot include the reliance on something that you don't fully control. We had a lot of conversation with Mr. Wright then around what that actually looks like, because when I've been through this in other districts, in most districts, like we knew that we were on the tail end of our levy cycle. Like you've heard Doug talk about before, that's not a surprise. We know that this is coming. When we've had discussions on this, you chose to wait to see what happened with the state budget, which made sense because the initial version of the Senate or the state budget had us losing $2.5 million. The next version had us gaining $2.5 million. The final version had us a couple $100,000 ahead. So we're in a position now where there needs to be discussion on what are the next steps. We know that we have next steps that we have to take. We know that there's a level of service that the community expects with what we offer students. And so we haven't had that opportunity yet to discuss how or when or what does it even look like to ask the community. Now we're being told by the department, per the law, which is a more recent development with the law, that we have to create this plan to eliminate. I think the challenge with it is if we're going to look at having to make reductions or increase fees or other things, whatever that is, to come up with this way to eliminate, that timeline and the requirement almost feels a little backwards. You know, it doesn't give time for a process to go through to decide what are you going to do. It takes away in some ways the requirement, the ability for us to have meaningful discussion on how to proceed in some ways, at least to meet the statutory requirement that they're telling us. They also told us that whatever the plan then is has to be incorporated into the next version of the financial forecast that Doug submits in February after it's brought to you for approval, which then creates another complicating factor, because if you're approving a plan that we are looking at, but only if we determine, as an example, if you determine we're going to ask the community for X, because we want to keep the level of services that we have the same, The plan then gets incorporated into the forecast before the community's ever asked, because I think the first attempt in calendar year 26 is May, if I'm not mistaken, that you could potentially do. Then the forecast doesn't show there's a deficit, even though those are things you aren't planning to necessarily have to do. And it creates a confusing message for the community at the very least. We asked a number of questions to Mr. Wright about what happens if a board doesn't submit a plan. I don't think there was a clear answer on that. We asked about what happens if the plan gets submitted, but then it's not included in the next forecast projections for the reason I just spoke about. And we were told that maybe that would lead to us receiving another letter because we're still showing a deficit, which would then lead to us submitting the same plan we've already submitted. There wasn't a real clear answer on that either. We did ask as well, just because a plan is created, does that lock the board into having to enact that plan as things further progress and move along? And the department's answer on that was, as long as there's a reduction and the deficit disappears, however that is, the department's not really, it doesn't really care about the specifics. So this plan that has to be approved by December 21st and submitted could change at any point in time thereafter. We're not locked into it. So Doug, is there anything else you want to add there?
I think just to reiterate, I think we have to look at this in the sequential steps, which, as Dr. Hill pointed out, seem to be somewhat backwards. So I think the first step is we have to meet the letter of the law and submit the plan. So with your input, I think Dr. Hill and I will put that plan together and submit it so we are in compliance. I don't think that the plan that we're going to submit will probably be the plan that we actually implement if we have to make further reductions, because there could be a ballot initiative in there. Other things could change. But at this point in time, we need to eliminate that deficit in the third year, and putting this plan together will do that. But the timeline that they give us, so they contacted us about 2 weeks ago, and this has to be completed by December 21st, which means it really needs to be completed by December 8th for you to act on it, doesn't allow us to put a collaborative effort with all the stakeholders to truly put a plan together that we feel meets the needs of everybody in the district, including the students. So I think we have to look at it sequentially, like, let's just get a plan in place with these reductions that does it, take a step back, evaluate what we want to do in 2026, and then kind of implement our plan. To me, the biggest question is, do we actually implement that plan in the February forecast, or do I submit a forecast that I believe is more accurate and then receive the letter and resubmit the plan to, again, allow us time to collaboratively put in the correct plan of what we want to do to reduce that, whether it's reductions, an additional ask to our community, or whatever that might be, as we continue to navigate this deficit balance.
Yeah, and just to be clear for those who may be watching this at a later date, there's been numerous steps taken as we've dealt with declining enrollment through attrition and other things. We're constantly, and as you well know, you're constantly keeping an eye on this bottom financial line. This shouldn't be a surprise. We're on the tail end of a levy cycle. You've heard Doug talk about how the level of support from the state has shifted from 60 whatever percent it was to 40%, which means there's more local burden. We have all this property tax reform stuff that's happening right now that the legislature is either acting on or talking about acting on. There's a lot of moving parts here. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression that somehow this isn't concerning. It's concerning. It's definitely concerning. But it was concerning when we looked at our forecast back when you made decisions to go on the ballot in 2021. and our community made a choice at the ballot that they wanted the level of services that have been provided. And so here we are now in 2025, the end of 25, having the same type of conversation, which is the way that these cycles work in school districts. We don't know that ultimately that the plan involves just simply asking for something. There's probably a combination of many things that will be part of it as we work through this whole collaborative process. But really, what we wanted to do tonight is just make sure everybody's on the same page with what we're being asked to do, and ask for your approval to allow Doug and I to work in a pretty expedient manner to put something together that we can bring back to you at December's meeting to look at. Obviously, there's other options too. If December 8th feels too rushed, there's always the possibility to schedule other special meetings if it's something that needs to be further discussed before you're comfortable taking the action that the state's requiring.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to mention with the December 8th deadline. Would it help you guys, since we have a December 21st, would it help you guys on the front end to have a little bit more time to come up with something, and then we could call a special meeting to approve it, and, to meet our December 21st deadline?
Yeah, I think maybe we could give an update on where we feel like. We asked about delaying as well. Like, we have a new member that's going to be joining the board.
Right.
And what we were told is you can always ask for an extension, but he told us that a similar request had been made for that reason and was recently denied. So he didn't tell us you can't ask for it. He just simply said you can, but yeah, but here's where we're at. So we're operating under the premise that December 21st is pretty much when it needs to be. He is willing to. We asked him if there was a reason that you would want to have them come and present on what's required in the law. He's happy to do that. I think that they do that with districts that may be facing what we are in the next immediate year. I'm not sure it's an option at that point. So it's not a requirement that they come and present. And in case you're wondering, there's 44 districts in the state that received the letter from the department after the submission of the October forecast. So maybe what we can do is work and then give an update.
What we just did with the strategic plan, give it some feedback, and then make sure everybody's comfortable with it, and bring it back a week later or so.
Yeah.
That does give us, there are 2 weeks between the 8th and the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got a holiday in there.
Do you want to get a date on the calendar so we have it right now while everybody's here? And then if it's for some reason something that's not needed, we could let you know that.
Yeah, that would be good.
So the week of the 15th.
Yeah.
The week of the 15th?
Yes, week of the 15th.
Preferably the 16th or the 18th, Tuesday or Thursday.
16th, bad for me. 18th? 18th.
Anytime, 18th.
18th is fine for me.
Okay.
What time?
I'm open anytime.
Yeah, me too. Except maybe 8 a.m. or something like that.
That's what I wanted.
Okay, Gary. Tim, it sounds like you might have some conflicts.
I guess it depends if we think it's going to be a long meeting or not. So, I mean, I'm flexible, but could we do like 6?
Yeah, make it easier for
and
you.
If we go later, we'll go later, but that way maybe we're not here all night.
Okay, and does that give you?
Yeah,
that works for you.
fine.
Okay.
You can do 4.
You want to do earlier?
Earlier.
I can do earlier.
Well, I'm fine.
I could do 4.
Okay, 4 o'clock would be fine on the 18th.
Okay.
That works.
Is that, Julie, you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the 18th, 4 p.m.
Another comment that I had with respect to the forecast, and, you know, again, if we come up with something that we have to do to meet this new requirement, and even if we would have to put it into our forecast, these forecasts change quite often. I'm wondering if we have the forecast that would include those changes in the plan, but, you know, if we do have to go out to the ballot for something, Doug, would we be able to have another forecast, not that we officially would adopt, but would be able to show where we are without the plan, and, you know, again, still showing the need of why we need to go to the ballot? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can model all that. The plan actually is a very integrated, probably Excel workbook with like 8 tabs on it that makes us mirror and project that stuff out for every year down to every month. So if we reduce this, how will that impact us for every month? So I think the plan in itself will do a lot of that. The thing that the part of the revenue that doesn't have is, because we can't include in the plan, is an additional revenue source that we can't control. So we can put in there revenue sources that we can't control. So say we want to increase fees or increase rental rates or different things. We can incorporate those in there because we can control those. We can't control those revenue sources that would take the vote of the public. Okay. So, but I certainly can let you know, like, when, you know, 1 mil generates X for us, and how that would project out into future years of the forecast if we were to be successful at the ballot during calendar year 2026.
And I was just trying to address the one concern about the backward way this is happening, and what Andy just said about, you know, well, we need it, but we don't need it, and then we show we need it. So that's why, you know, we're going to need that tool if we're going to have to go to the communities also.
So if we go back to the strategic plan, this was my question, but I needed this part, and where we have on finance area number 3 with evaluate funding. I just want to make sure there's not a mixed message there. So our timeline for that is calendar year 26. But I guess it's likely and or possible that we're evaluating that very early in 26, and you could still have a ballot in 26. Correct. And that might be a little misleading the way we have it worded today. And I know it's an unknown. I just don't want
where it seems
like
here
we're going to make a decision sometime next year, but then it turns out we're also on the ballot next year. And I don't know that there's a way to clarify that, but that was.
We could make it so that we could change that time frame to be early in that year, because there's deadlines. Like if you were going to be on in May, there's going to be filing deadlines that have to happen probably around February or March. So we could specify the months of 2026.
I think I would like that for transparency.
That's a good point.
So we'll get the deadlines then and use that as the time frame. And we'll go off of the May, because even if that decision's made to do it in November, it's still, okay.
So a question I have, so with the deficit spending starting in 2028, we have to have a plan in place by December 21st to cut $6.7 million out of that particular budget. When do you, once that's done, whatever is developed to meet the standard or the request, then when does that have to start to be implemented?
So what they're, as far as implementing the plan, whatever the plan says. So the plan will spell out when those reductions are made. So if we say we're going to reduce X for the 26-27 school year, then those need to be started. If we said we're going to introduce rate reductions starting this school year, then those. So the plan is very detailed on how and when those plant reductions take place. So you would start taking them out as soon as whatever you say in the plan. And that's why it's kind of like a catch-22 of what comes first. So I think most of the things that Dr. Hill and I discussed so far would be things, it's very hard to make reductions right now, mid-year, especially if we're talking staffing reductions. So most of those we'll start planning out for future years. So we have the 26-27 school year and the 27-28 school year, the 2 years that we're talking about, that reductions will need to be made in order to eliminate that $6.7 million negative cash balance at the end of fiscal year 28.
Thank you.
Any other comments or anything?
I will add to that, if it's okay. This is where, though, the dialogue has to come in. You know, and I'll just use one example. When the board was sitting around discussing the desire to reduce class size in 2013, they created a plan that was implemented to reduce it. So that appears to be something that the community appreciates. It's something that helps us be able to use a home-based neighborhood school model if you're keeping class sizes even across all the buildings. As we get into these discussions and we look at this type of stuff, maybe not for the initial plan that we create to meet statute deadlines, but as further discussions occur, there's going to have to be some decisions made about how important are those things that we've prioritized that the community seems to appreciate, and should the community have the ability to be asked if they want those to continue before decisions get made to change those. That's where things get really, really complicated, and that's why the idea of what the state is having us do is good. The timing of how they have this all happening, to me, just feels rushed and backwards, because anyways, for the reasons already shared.
That surprises you, Hal.
Okay. All right. And I know you guys didn't need anything more on your plate, and here we are. So thank you for navigating through this. I know it's very difficult, so thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, on to our next favorite part of the proceedings, public participation. Do we have anyone here that wants to? Steve, you good? Okay, moving on to administrative items. Back to Dr. Hill.
Tonight, under personnel consent, I have items 1 through 3 for your consideration. I also want to note later on that you'll be ratifying resignations. We do have a retirement on there. Rob Earl at the end of the school year. Rob's been a teacher here for many years, and so we congratulate Rob as he's finishing out his last year here with us teaching. So at this time, unless you have questions, I recommend to you personnel consent items 1 through 3.
Okay, may I get a motion in a second? So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Roll call, Mr. Beeman.
Jill Stevens?
Aye.
Tim Beck? Aye. Gary McComas?
Aye.
Julie Beatty?
Aye.
Amanda Gordon?
Aye.
Next, I have action consent items 1 through 16. Most of them are written about on the accompanying detail sheet. I do want to thank the Wadsworth Band Boosters for their donation, and we had a nice anonymous donation that's also on the agenda tonight. And I'm very appreciative of all these groups and individuals that continue to provide support for our students and school district. I'm happy to answer questions. At this time, I recommend to you action consent items 1 through 16.
Okay, motion in a second.
So moved. Second.
Tie goes to the runner. Okay, questions, discussion? Roll call, Doug.
Tim Beck? Aye. Gary McComas? Aye. Julie Beatty?
Aye.
Amanda Gordon?
Aye.
Jill Stevens?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy, appreciate it. Okay, Doug, items of the treasurer.
The only item I have tonight is my October financial reports.
Okay, motion and a second, so moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, Doug.
Gary McComas.
Aye.
Julie Beatty.
Aye.
Amanda Gordon.
Aye.
Jill Stevens.
Aye.
Tim Beck. Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, legislative update.
Just a couple of small things. House Bill 10 was unanimously passed. House Bill 10 is a policy prohibiting the purchase of lab-produced meat. So our schools will no longer be serving lab-produced meat, if they were. So that's good news. Back when we were in school, it wasn't meat. I don't think it was just. Anyway, no comment. Yeah, mystery meat.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, Senate Bill 19 had its 6th hearing, and that has to do with that would require school districts to adopt a math improvement monitoring plan for students who fall under the math intervention services category. So it's looking like that'll probably pass at some point, similar to the reading improvement plans that are out there as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, moving to board member items. In item 11A, 1 and 2 that Andy just mentioned, if I could get a motion and a second for the ratification of resignations. So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, Doug.
Julie Beatty.
Aye.
Amanda Gordon.
Aye.
Jill Stevens.
Aye.
Tim Beck. Aye. Gary McComas.
Aye.
Okay, we'll do our round robin of additional board member items. Ava, would you like to go first?
Of course. Oh my goodness, this is a bit twisted. So it has been quite the month already. I feel like it's already December personally, but starting in the arts, last week, I think all the schools in the district hosted a Veterans Day assembly, but specifically here at the high school, our Rhythm and Red and Royal Sensation performed a song called The Three Patriotic Treasures for our assembly. Our band also performed a special performance. The play Lost Girl was also this past weekend. I'd love to congratulate the cast for yet another amazing performance. Their holiday comedy will be the first week of December, so that's coming up quite soon. Moving into the academics, Speech and Debate was able to host a tournament here. We had an amazing turnout, and many Wadsworth students received top placements and many honorable mentions. A few weeks ago, our WIS middle school and high school Grizzly leaders got together with Spark Medina and made cards for our local elders to bring them a little spark of joy. We learned about how many of them can experience loneliness over the holidays and how we can help them just spread some holiday cheer. As I previously mentioned, we hosted our Veterans Day Assembly last week. Before the assembly, the Student Council hosted a breakfast for our veterans who were being honored. Personally, I know I was, and all the rest of the Student Council, we were able to sit and talk with the veterans, hearing some of their stories, and spending time reminiscing about some of their favorite memories from when they served. This past Thursday, we had senior leaf raking. We were blessed with some amazing weather, and the senior class not only finished all of their assigned houses, but many of us were able to go back and help some other houses' neighbors rake leaves. The CCP applications are now open for sophomores and juniors for the 26-27 school year. Feel free to stop by the guidance office for some help and join the Google Classroom. NHS inductions will be next week, and our academic award ceremony is this Wednesday to honor students for their hard work and dedication. In the athletics, all of our fall sports have officially wrapped up. We had many amazing seasons. I can't quite express how much I'm going to miss the Friday night lights, but I think we all agree we're ready for those winter sports to start up. It has been quite a busy month, but that's what we have going on in November.
Thank you very much. Julie?
Okay. I just want to make a quick couple comments. Certainly throughout all of the school newsletters, I am noticing that I know WIS did it last week, but this week a lot of our schools are doing the district-wide Salvation Army fund drive, and so they're collecting monetary donations to donate to the Salvation Army so that they can purchase food for families that are in need. And I also want to thank, and I've certainly saw in all of the newsletters, all of the school newsletters have food resources, pantry locations, and places for families to go if they are in need of food and other items. Since we're coming out of the government shutdown, things are still a little bit behind, and so I know a lot of community organizations are working hard to make sure that our students and families are getting the resources that they need, especially since we're entering the holiday season. So I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and that is all I have.
Thank you. Tim?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Julie and I had the honor of representing the Board of Education at the Four Cities Compact Showcase, which was hosted here at Wadsworth High School. And it was just really neat for us to kind of see just these amazing programs that are offered to our students and the students also at Norton, Barberton, and Copley. Each of the 21-22 programs had like a station set up where students could then come in. I think the 10th grade students from all 4 school districts had a chance to come and have conversation, maybe sit in on 1 or 2, just to kind of preview what the different options are. And it was really neat. I think it's a great program that we offer. Let's see, advanced, I can't read, manufacturing, they gave us free, like, I don't know, like an etched coin, like a 3D printed thing. This is to kind of resemble a key fob. I don't know what that's made out of, but Gary knows. It's pretty cool. So they have some really neat opportunities, our students do. So I wanted to give a shout out to Ryan Whited, Jody McInnes, Laura Kerstetter, and Director Bill Damasio. Laura, I know, also had a lot to do with the organization to getting this set up, so shout out to her. This past weekend, the drama department had The Lost Girl, the play, directed by Mrs. Pernod. It was like a Peter Pan-esque story from Wendy's perspective, if you know that. Kendall Randolph was the lead, and she did an amazing job, as did the Lost Boys and the other amazing actors in the drama. I believe coming up in December is the Christmas comedy. And then lastly, I just wanted to give a shout out to highlight, maybe you've paid attention or noticed, I hope, that there's been some improved communications, definitely on Facebook with our Wadsworth City Schools Facebook page. So I'm really happy to see more engagement with that, and it's a way for the community to stay in touch with what's happening. And there also is an Instagram page, so if you want to follow the Wadsworth City Schools Instagram, it is WCS Grizzlies on Instagram. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary?
Oh, I'm going to be brief. So, congratulations to all the fall sports teams, and good luck to all the winter sports. It was pretty exciting fall for a lot of teams went really far. A couple made it to state level, and that's pretty awesome. And like I said, good luck to the winter sports. That's getting started very quickly, and I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Gary. Jill?
Looking like a short timer, Gary.
We'll be doing one next month.
I'd like to congratulate Julie and Amanda for being reelected to the board. Very thankful for that, as well as welcome Tom Fisher. Appreciative of anybody who steps up and runs for a board or other community and to support their community. It's a big deal, and we're all fortunate to live where we can elect and opt in who we choose to have on the board. So I'm very thankful to have Julie and Amanda back. Gary has done his time, so we appreciate the 8 years. I'll let the rest of it go. So thank you for your 8 years of service. And welcome to Tom Fisher. We will miss you a lot. Everybody brings a strength. You bring your strength.
You bring something, Gary.
Never know. And then Ava mentioned the veterans programs, and that's just something near and dear to me, so I appreciate it. I could not attend any this year, but I did appreciate being able to see what I could on social media and read about it in the programs. And again, that's a commitment that we live in a country that we can support, and I'm so very glad we do. And then lastly, we had a meeting recently with our PTO presidents and their boards. It was a very productive meeting. good interaction, another way for us to get feedback from our community and get closer to what's happening. Those schools are really lucky, and 2 takeaways, but one is apparently you can never have enough chocolate. So that's Thanks, Amanda.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just a couple of things. You mentioned the speech and debate tournament that we hosted here. That, it's a big deal for us to be able to host such a big tournament. I was looking, and I'd reached out to get some results for our kids, and the coaches, I don't think, were able to email me back, but I don't know if that's something part of what Tim was talking about, that we can make sure that because I really want to continue to highlight the achievements for all of our kids, no matter what program that they're in, and I was just kind of curious about that one, because I know it's a great tournament for us to be able to host, so hopefully we can highlight some of those results going forward. Again, with the Salvation Army, I was very happy to see us doing that. It's an organization I know personally near and dear to my heart, and thank you to everyone who is supporting that, and for all of our schools. And congratulations to our fall sports teams, especially the volleyball and cross country, girls cross country, for the number of things that they did there. And I just have to say one thing about football and Friday night. It was electric. If you weren't able to be there, it was just absolutely electric. And I don't know that I've ever seen Arkwright Stadium rocking like it was. So thank you to everybody that came out to support our kids and the program. Prayers for our injured player. Always hate to see kids getting injured, but prayers to him for his recovery. And thank you to the community for the donations. When you saw the street signs and the growl towels and things like that, our community stepped up for donations with that. Our band, again, was amazing. Our band boosters worked so hard. I know last weekend they went from one thing to another, and all of the hard work that they put into helping support such a great program. Our businesses, we've got a great community of businesses that help support our schools. I know a couple of restaurants we went to after the game Friday night we couldn't get into, which was a good thing, so we just kept going until we found a place. But bringing the whole community together and the support was just amazing, and I'm looking forward to us carrying that momentum forward in all the programs we're doing, whether it's on stage or our winter sports or whatever. But we've got a lot of great spirit in this community, and I'm just very excited about that. And finally, I just do want to wish everybody a very blessed and happy Thanksgiving, and I guess we'll see you in December. So. Yes, Dr. Hill, you may say something else.
Thank you, President Gordon. I just am looking out and I noticed, and I don't know that if you've had a chance to meet him or not, but our new transportation supervisor is here, Cole. Cole, you want to stand up real quick?
Hi, Cole.
Cole's been on the job a few weeks. He's doing an outstanding job, and took time recently as he's learning the new job and doing a bazillion different things. To stay late and complete a grant and submit it for us for some safety-related items through the state. So, Cole, we're glad to have you on board. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Okay. With that, we are going to go into executive session for purposes of A2, D, and E on our list. So if I could get a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second. Okay. We'll give it to Gary now. Roll call, Doug.
Amanda Gordon.
Aye.
Jill Stevens.
Aye.
Tim Beck. Aye. Carrie McComas.
Aye.
Julie Beatty.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.